Well, folks, it has finally been done, and probably for a little while now. My friend told me about this. A man has perfected well, not quite perfected, I would say, but there is now the ability to 3D print a firearm. Not just the magazines or the receiver or parts. There is a man who has 3D printed the Liberator pistol. I don't know whether this was a good thing or a bad thing, but after doing a thorough amount of research, I am convinced that a lot of people are going to hurt themselves trying to do this because he didn't disclose what technology on any of these YouTube videos that he used to print it. There's several different 3D printing technologies. And little Billy Bo Bob or whoever, the kid with the 3D cube printer, is going to go run himself off a copy of this gun. And because it's printed with an inferior grade of plastic compared to the technology that the original maker used, that thing is going to blow up in his hand or in his face. It should be wise to note that this was ABS type plastic the man made this out of. He used an SLA process for making this. But let's look at this. Let's look at this for a minute and think about what has just been done. As technologies improve and this thing becomes reliable for people who are running 3D printers, you might as well kiss gun control goodbye. It's over with. Hundreds of thousands of copies of those plans were put out all over the internet before they ever shut that site down. So the man accomplished what he did. I think it's a boon in a way for Second Amendment freedom, because there's no way, once information is released into the wild, there's no way you can stop it. There will always be somebody, somewhere, with the cause in mind who is going to be spreading this stuff around. But this is just like the stuff in the anarchist's cookbook. If you don't know what you're doing when you make these kinds of things, you're going to kill yourself, not just the person who you might be defending yourself against. And has anybody given any thought? These 3D printed pistols, whether they're good or bad, they're basically Saturday night specials. The whole gun can be made for $30 worth of plastic. These are basically Saturday night specials. They'll be all over the place. There's going to be a lot of people with bloody stumps where their hands used to be. I personally would never have one of these for that reason, unless it was a last resort, and even then, it's kind of like a Derringer. You know, do you really want to shoot that? It tears your hand up just as bad as it'll tear your hand up just as bad as tear the person in front of you up. Basically, he has made a plastic belly gun, is what he's got there, and that's going to be a big thing. I mean, the genie is definitely out of the bottle. But could you imagine LA gangs or drug gangs giving their little punks these things? They don't care about the little peons. This I don't know how to explain this. How crazy this could get. Now, for legitimate purposes, if you printed it out of the right materials and whatnot, if you're looking for a way to defend yourself, I could see it as a last resort option. People like me who are unable to get their identification through legitimate means, I've tried for years to get my identification squared away. The federal government has me right, but state government here is complete crap, which is going to deprive me of my right to vote in a few years, but because of the voter ID legislation that's coming out. But it also makes it very hard to complete background checks and do other things when you try to legitimately purchase a firearm, which I've tried. So that's one thing I can thank the powers that be for depriving me of a lot of things. Through screwing up my ability to identify myself, they've deprived me of my right to vote and my right to own firearms. Therefore, I see the legitimate purpose I see the legitimate uses of this. For a person that can't otherwise arm themselves in a dangerous situation, this could, life or death, this could be something you could have. It's like what? A one-shot thing. You wouldn't want to shoot that thing more than once. But yeah, YouTube 3D printed gun. And see the controversy that's going on about this thing. It's like a lot of other things. I'm not a gun ban fanatic or anything like that. And then again, I'm not a gun crazy person either. But this thing may do more harm than good for either side. You shouldn't own something that's just as dangerous to you as it is to the person who's attacking you. I don't know. I don't know where the line should be drawn on it, but I saw a video of him shooting it for the first time, and it worked. Because like I said, the thing that he didn't tell anybody that I know of on any of those videos, and I saw some idiot, what was it? Some idiot in Maryland who printed him one on a cube. You're printing with basically polyethylene or something very close to it. That gun that guy shot is made of resin, of a very fast curing resin that's many times harder, many times the tensile strength of what you're printing in that little cube. And this is where it's going to really hurt people. People's kids are going to be printing these things and blowing their hands off, printing them out of inferior plastics. That's the problem with distributing something like this, is there's no standard and there's no engineering been thought of into this beyond the initial release of the product by the means it was made by. So I guess people in the know who know about firearms will take the appropriate precautions, but all these idiots, these upper middle class kids with their little 3D printers, they're going to have problems. They're going to hurt themselves, blow their hands off, blow their faces off. I saw the New South Wales Police Department test one that they printed on a consumer grade 3D printer, and the thing, all but the handle and the trigger guard, it exploded when they fired it. The bullet found its mark, and it could have definitely killed somebody because it went way into that ballistic gel. But the gun itself that they had on the jig to fire it, it blew to pieces. And I would not have liked to have been a person holding that. So before you all run out there and go print your little plastic gun, you better think about this. This is a plastic gun. It's basically the same kind of plastic, almost the same kind of plastic as Tupperware is made out of. Do you think that thing is going to hold together in your hand, or do you think it's going to blow up in your face the minute that the pressures build up from that 38 caliber round or whatever the hell you've printed it to take? Just a lot of things to consider. I do think it does prove a point, though. I do think it proves that there is no form of weapons control law or anything anywhere that's going to be sustainable. Now that people have seen this, it's opened up the concept of homemade weapons again. And 3D printing may be not the best avenue to do it, but now people are thinking again. If I can't buy one, I make one. That's the mindset that people are going to have now. That basically has opened up some new conceptual thinking to people that wouldn't have otherwise thought of it. So, and none of this stuff would exist if they would quit jiggering around with the Second Amendment trying to take people's weapons away. If you try to take something away from people and make it illegal, just to suit your needs, all you're going to do is create all of these workaround avenues that people come up with to find these things, to get these things. Smithing a gun is not that hard. Making a gun, a bolt action, that's easy. Just a little pipe and some wood and a few other things, and you've got the makings of a gun. You don't need a 3D printer. That's why I don't care if they make it illegal or not. Because 9 times out of 10, the people who make these things are going to blow themselves, they're going to blow their face off with them. or blow their hands off with them. And pretty soon it's going to be seen for what it is. It's a gimmick, but it was a good gimmick. It opened the minds of the people up to other options. And people have been making their own guns for years, all over centuries. Maybe a couple of centuries since the concept of the firearm. People have been making them at home. You don't need a gunsmith to make that. You just need some head knowledge and a little bit of intelligence. So, my views on the 3D printed gun. You make something illegal, which they're trying to do with our gun rights. They're trying to make it where we can't own, and when they can't get around taking our guns away, when they can't get around there to doing it, they make the ammo damn near impossible to get a hold of. People are only going to take that so long, and then they're going to start finding workarounds, which is what this basically is. And now it's in the public and in the round, so how's that debate working for y'all now? You'll never be able to stop the information. Sad but true, and there's going to be a lot of people hurt. There's going to be more people hurt now trying to make these things and fire them than there would have been if you'd have just left the Second Amendment alone and let people get the proper firearms that they have a perfect legal right to own. So, good work, Obama. Y'all take care.